you guys started the business in what year again?
So a little bit of a unique story. Kyle, I'll kind of break into it from the start here. So I started the business in, I guess, officially like 2014, and then it was licensed as a business in 2015. I started the business by myself with a Jeep Cherokee and a push mower, basically from scratch. I mean, every dollar that I made cutting grass, I would just plug right back into the company for a couple years. Um, Business kind of, rapidly built year over year, just, constantly investing, had some really good hires that I made early on. Um, we can fast forward a couple years to so Kyle and I are brothers, we're half brothers, and never really knew each other growing up. We have the same dad, different mom. We saw each other maybe three times in our life prior, I'd say, prior to this happening. And I shot Kyle a message. Was it your 21st birthday or something?
Yeah.
On Instagram. Kyle was living down in Florida. We'd connect via Instagram every, once in a while. I shot him a message like, "Hey, you should come up to Jersey and work for my company." And yeah, Kyle, I'll let you kind of take it from here.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting, Alex. I mean, what I was doing in Florida, I was in car sales for a little while. I'd gotten out of that, and I started a power washing business down there with a friend of mine. And I remember one day we started doing really well, and how we would do it is we would get into these gated communities down in Jupiter, Florida. He would do the power washing, I would do knocking, and just try to sell like all day long. And then I was like, hey, I think actually my brother up in Jersey, he has a company, so I looked it up on EarthScapes on Instagram at the time. I didn't follow it, but I followed Nick. And I remember I asked Nick, I was like, hey, I have some questions for you. I think I have something going on down here. Again, smaller power washing. And then I remember he gave me his number. We got on a phone call and we started chatting. And then within, I think, that week, I believe, or maybe a week after, I packed up my entire car from Florida and I drove all the way up here to Jersey. I didn't have a place to stay. I slept in Nick's garage, like area for a couple of days until we found a place. But I was very confident and so excited for that new journey and to be in like the landscape hardscape industry that I was just like, let's just do it. I knew no one on the Jersey Shore except for him, and I barely even knew him. So I was like,
Thanks.
why not?
Hey, like, for me, I saw somebody that was like younger, motivated, like, obviously like when you get somebody that's kind of new in the industry, you can really kind of morph them into like how you want to, or like my vision for the company and everything. And people from hearing Kyle's portion of the story there probably think I gave him some like ridiculous financial offer to move up here, but it was pretty, pretty slim. He took the chance, and it's been how many years? It's been going really well.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely pretty slim. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't like, oh wow, I'm about to make a lot of money, I'm going. It was really just, I wanted to start and I wanted to like really work, for something. And in the past I've had my hands in like, the field a tiny, very, very tiny bit. But I saw Nick's Instagram, and social media is something obviously that Nick is very good at. So I was like, all right, well, I see him doing this great work. I think this is something I'd really love to do. And over the past, I think, almost 4 years now, we've been doing it together, and I've had a really, really, really great time. So it's been awesome. This episode is brought to you by Hardscaper.com. The Hardscaper mission is to empower industry professionals with the skills, inspiration, and confidence they need to take their businesses to new heights. Struggling with training programs for your team? Looking for helpful tips to build a better company? Subscribe today to gain access to hours of interactive on-demand hardscape construction and business courses for free. Check out hardscaper.com. You're listening to Hardscape Growth, a podcast for hungry professionals who want to grow their businesses and level up. Welcome to another episode of the Hardscape Growth Show. I'm your host, Alex from Techo Block. Today, we're joined by Nick and Kyle from EarthScapes, New Jersey. You just heard their story of how they got started. Pretty unlikely duo, really. Two half brothers, didn't know each other or barely knew each other. And now look at you guys running a business and doing a great job. So today we wanted to hit on a few things. From the outside, the things that I had seen were, you've invested a lot in creating a great customer experience. You have a showroom, you have the office, you're great at presenting your concepts to the clients and giving them really a high-end experience, which I think is important because, especially in a super competitive market, you want to have a competitive edge. You want to come across as super professional and organized and really invested in being there to give the customer the best value possible. And you guys seem to do a great job of that.
But that's not where we're going to hang out for most of our conversation today. Today, we're going to focus more on the company culture that you've been striving and working so hard to build, the vision, the goals that you have, the core values of the company, and how that's manifested itself. Specifically, the last time I DM'd you guys was after I saw your spring training that you were posting on Instagram. So you were taking advantage of the warmer weather a few weeks ago before the season got rolling to bring the team up to speed on different techniques, tools, what have you. So why don't we start with the vision and kind of work our way down the pyramid to the more actionable items like spring training.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always heard in business, like, you got to have a vision, you got to have a mission statement. You should have core values, like, um, and sure, like, I think in the past we've written down some information on a piece of paper, like these are our core values, and this is our mission statement.
Mhm. You're doing
But
it
to
because
really,
it's something you're supposed to do, but it's
yeah,
not
to
meaning
go into the
enough yet.
business.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we had some pretty substantial staff adjustments within the past 6 months going into the winter. And I really had kind of like a second wind here with like the business as far as motivation goes. And I really dove into just really ironing out exactly what my vision is for the company and what I want our mission statement to be and what our true core values are. Like what's important like to me as a business owner and how I want to present myself as a company. And then I want to build my team around that. And honestly, that's so true. Like our core values, we hire to them, we fire to them. We build our entire team and we hold our team accountable to our core values. And from really putting that into place, and Kyle, you can agree, like the past 6 months or however many I think since early November, October that we really put this into play, so less than 6 months, but the shift that we have seen in, morale, in culture, in just productivity, accountability has been incredible.
Yep. I definitely agree. And Alex, I'll jump in for 1 second. I mean, the four core values are specific are relationships, quality, teamwork, and respect. We relay those every single morning when we do our rollout when we're leaving for the day. So every single morning we have our entire shop, all of our team members there, our managers there. We get a huddle, we chat about the day, whatever is going on, and then we have a big sign that has our four core values, our vision and mission statement. And we make sure we relay those every single day, so every decision we make, whether it's on the road and we're driving, whether we're speaking with that hard client or we're going through that proposal or whatever it may be, we can always take a step back and look at those core values and make sure that we're, relaying those into whatever situation it may be. But Nick's absolutely right. I mean, the change and the shift we've seen with everyone on our team here, how happy and excited everyone is when they come to work. I mean, we can give a lot of that to the core values, which is definitely great.
Why is that? Because, just the words, I'm gonna
Mhm.
play devil's advocate here, but we're just the words, relationships, quality, teamwork, respect. They're just words and they can mean a lot of different things and be interpreted differently. So, how did you land on those 4 specifically? Why did you limit yourselves to 4 or get up to 4, whichever way you wanna look at it? And then how does that translate to a team where it actually matters to them? Because,
Yeah.
they're just there, it's not their company, you know?
Exactly. So, like I said, I took some time to really think about like how I wanted to, what it was going to take. The core values are really the building blocks to get you to, your vision for the company, right? And your mission is how you're going to get there. The core values are kind of like what we're going to do to get there. So, um, relationships, we strive to build really good relationships with our team members, our vendors, our clients, and that's huge. Like relationships are a building block to building a solid team, to having customers for life, for having vendors that are, going to have your back. Quality, that goes without saying, we do a quality job. Um, we do quality work, makes our clients happy. Teamwork, we function as a team. Everybody works together. We keep an honest and open, transparent environment here. And then respect. We respect one another. We respect the properties that we work on, the clients, our equipment, our tools, everything. And how we get that across to the team and how we think we're seeing such a beneficial response from that is because it all starts at the top. Like people are like our team members are going to, whatever they see us doing is what they're going to do. Like if we're doing things that are against our core values, we cannot expect that they're going to be following our core values. So I think in our actions as leaders, our leadership team here, we're seeing that translate to the team.
So
Yeah, definitely.
so as someone walking in the door, I get hired tomorrow morning. How do you like, how do I buy into this? Well, what's the process for me that I get that you guys are actually walking the walk and it's not just blah blah and the sign on the wall and I'm supposed
Mhm.
to be all
Yeah.
in off the hop, you know?
Well, Alex, it does start right in the interview. I mean, we relay those core values while you're interviewing for us, and we make it very clear right then and there that that is firmly what Nick and I believe in our hearts. Like the relationships, quality, teamwork, respect is something I know Nick and I live by, not only in the business but also outside of work too. So we make that known, and it's really not if like someone wants to buy it or not, or that's just what it is. Again, we hire to that. If you can show us that you really firmly believe in good relationships, you really firmly believe in quality work, great teamwork, and you respect one another on the team or the clients or whoever it may be, then we know you're a good fit for the team, right? And
And
if you
something else.
go ahead.
No, sorry. I was gonna say, Kyle, your new MVP idea that you came up with, like that, we have a really cool little way that we created buy-in with this,
Yeah.
and Kyle's gonna show you this.
Oh yeah, every month.
Nice.
It's so silly, but every month on the first of each month, we're gonna have a little MVP award go out. Then they're gonna get a little picture that goes to our shop as well. And how I have it set up right now is all of our team leaders, and team leaders are also known as like division managers and whatnot, but our leaders from landscape, install, and maintenance, they're gonna submit to me each month a couple guys that are showing exceptional like core value representation, right? So maybe someone that really went out of their way to help someone on the team, or they really respected a client, or they went above and beyond for quality, or whatever it may be. They're going to submit that to me. We'll pick someone. We'll reward it to them in the morning at the shop. Give them a little gift card, and the picture is going to go up for a month. So it's something silly, but I firmly believe it should be really great for the team. Healthy competition, and it's really going to make people work hard for those core values. You know,
Gamify the culture a little bit. It's fun.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, it has to be fun. It has to be fun. If it's all just dollars and cents and numbers and spreadsheets, it's I mean, some people are motivated by that, but like to get up and go through the grind every day, like you can make money doing a lot of things. You might as well have fun doing it while you're doing it, you know?
For
I
sure.
agree.
So I get the core values. I'm looking at your website right now. I don't know if the vision and mission statement are fully up to date or not. Hopefully they are. But the
Yep.
vision is to be a leader in landscape solutions focused on delivering outstanding client experiences while creating a workplace that empowers our team to grow and excel. How did you come up with that? And what does that actually mean in practice?
Yeah, so I really want to be like a company in our area that like somebody has a landscape issue that they want to solve, whether it's an aesthetic issue, they don't like the way their place looks, or a drainage issue or a function issue. Like we are problem solvers. We had a team sales meeting yesterday where the premise or the title of the meeting was we're not salesmen, we're problem solvers. So I really want to focus on kind of being known as the company that like we're here to solve your problems and provide solutions. And on top of that, we want to deliver outstanding client experiences. So making sure that the client is just like, has a great experience with our company all the way from the first phone call to book the consultation through the handshake at the end of project walkthrough. And then while doing all of that, creating an environment that really allows our team to, have a place for future growth and for a career. Um, and kind of tying that all into our core values and our mission statement, it really all kind of works together. And yeah, it took some time to put this together. I'm involved in some industry peer groups that really help. We've seen each other and a lot of good information. And but truly believe that that's kind of the direction that we want to take the company.
Okay. I do want to come back to the peer groups in a second. I'm just making a note on that. But if we just like break down that vision statement to get some like real tangible examples of like, I guess, changes that you might have implemented as a result of landing on, okay, this is the vision for the company. Because you said you've had some substantial changes in the recent months. So it kind of
Yeah.
forced you to rethink some stuff. So, like, when you say leader in landscape solutions, I like what you said. Like, you had your sales meeting the other day, and the sales meeting was, we are problem solvers. So, if we invent a scenario, let's pick like a common problem that comes up, which comes up as a sales opportunity, a lead. You identify the problem and you figure out the solution. So like, can we make up a scenario here that's something that's pretty common that you deal with, and we can work through
Sure.
like what this looks like? in
Yeah,
practice?
definitely. I mean, I had one today, a consultation today, and the client was looking to redo her landscape beds in front of her house. The deer and the rabbits keep eating everything, and she hates the way it looks. Okay, two problems identified right there. We have an issue with the rabbits and everything eating her plants, and then two, her landscape is outdated. She doesn't like the way it looks.
Okay.
Whenever we pick up on those things with the consultation as well, we always repeat those concerns back to them to show them, we understand what they're saying.
Mhm. And then from there, you say focused on delivering outstanding client experiences. So, what are you doing? Because, like, so far, I went out to see a customer. They described the problems that they're having. I'm identifying the solution. What makes your customer experience exceptional when compared to others in this case?
Sure. So the communication during the process of listening to what the client has to say, listening to their issue, and then providing a solution on our end. My solution was we can do a redesign for the front of your property while choosing deer animal resistant plants, deer resistant plants. Um, we can introduce you to our design process where you can visualize what things are going to look like. Answering a lot of her questions on the spot, providing a solution, allowing her to be able to visualize the potential, opportunity for the front of the property with our design process. Um, just giving her options,
Okay.
and she's not set with here's a pencil sketch of what we could do for the front of your property. You can actually see it.
Right. So you're doing the design, and then, like I said at the outset, like, you guys have a design studio slash showroom where, like, the customer, once they've worked their way down a certain level of the sales process you guys have,
Yeah.
they'll come meet you there. Does the consultation always start with you going out to see them, or is it on the phone, or do they submit pictures, or, like, how does it? What does that client journey look like with?
They're all typically on-site consultations right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we do some pre-qualification beforehand, but the consultation is on site.
Okay. And at what point do they come to you after?
So they'll come to us if typically if it's let's just say it's for a client that's looking to do some design work, or they're struggling with visualizing the potential for the property. So if they decide to move forward with us, like in the design process,
Mhm.
after we send them their initial concept of the design, they have the option to do either a virtual design review meeting or they can come into our studio. We have some people in the area that we live here that these are summer homes, or they live in the city full time. So yeah, they may want to do a virtual review, but we prefer to get them into the studio so they can see everything that we have to offer.
How does that influence their experience, do you believe?
Kyle, you can weigh in on this. You've had great success in bringing people in.
Yeah, definitely, it influences them greatly. I mean, they come in here, thanks to Tackle Block, we do have a lot of we have one of those Tackle Block, showroom tables with all the material board, slide out. We do also have some of the sample boards up on the walls as well, the color wheel, the whole 9. So it allows them to touch, feel, and see all the colors of everything. We also just invested some money into a, virtual board that we can bring up designs on. We could draw on it, the whole 9, so that makes it very helpful, but I think when we get them in I just actually had a client in today, it just definitely helps expedite the process a little bit, makes them feel comfortable. They come in, they see a professional company. On the other side of our wall, it's like glass panels, and then you see all of our offices. Everyone has a name tag and a plaque and their position, and everything is very organized. I think cleanliness is very important in our office too. But it helped the client a lot because they come in and they know what they're getting right when they walk in.
The closing rate seems to go up once we get people into the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have pictures of all of our projects. The Adam Path took pictures of all of our projects all over the office as well. So a lot of times when they come in, my clients today came in and he said the good like maybe 2 minutes before we even like started talking, just looking around at things. And we really like that, and we definitely see a good return on that.
Yeah, because you guys are, I mean, no offense, but it's true. You guys are fairly young. So
Yeah.
it must help having, like, a brick and mortar location that people come in, they see there are other employees, they see the track record of success, and you're using technology, and you're using, things from a leading manufacturer to stand out. Like, you that to me, when you're talking about focused on delivering outstanding client experiences, that is a great example of it. Like, you have thought of all those details. And even, like, Kyle, you were meeting customers today. You have the nice clean white zip up over your shirt, like you're representing, you're looking professional. These are the
Mhm.
things that inspire confidence. And then through your communication, through your follow-ups, you're both very well spoken right off the bat, so that helps. All these things help continue to build that trust and helps them move forward in the process with you. And then how you personalize the design, how you address their concerns, how you answer their questions, these things all end up playing in your favor. So
Yeah, definitely.
The client that Kyle had in today brought him lunch, right?
Yeah, so
it's nice.
this client, funny enough, he is then Nick mentioned before. I want to touch on the age thing in just a second,
Yeah.
so if I forget it, let me know. Um, but this client of ours, I met him through another client that we did in Manasquan. We did the consultation initially. I did the entire design. We did the whole build, and they didn't even see the project one time until it was completely done. But that's how intense we are with our process. Like photos every single day, videos, FaceTime calls, whatever the client needs to be happy. This specific client, his name's Sanford, he was in Asia for 6 weeks and he just got back. We signed the whole proposal. We did the whole design the whole time while he was gone. And he just came back. We're going to King of Prussia on Monday together. But he brought in lunch. Him and I are super close. And it was just a really great experience for him and for myself. And to go back on the age thing for a second, it's funny because I'm 24 years old.
Yeah.
I can tell you what I hear almost every time is, "Oh, you're such a baby." That's I hear that 24/7 when I meet with clients, and I say, "Yes, I know," but I'm always super clean. I say, "Listen, our team back at the office, I have guys here that have been in the construction industry for almost 30 years, like older than myself." I said, "Let's try to get away from the age a little bit." I think what you get with two younger guys and a younger team in general is you get a really nice seamless process with technology. You get us our attention to detail, like you just said. I think you lose that sometimes. You deal with more of the old cool folks. But I'm going all over the place right now. But the attention to detail is definitely the most important thing, especially coming from young people.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
what's key there is like even when your age is presented as an obstacle, let's say, in the sales cycle with the client, you're turning it into an opportunity. It's just the way that you frame it. You're saying, well, like we have tons of experienced people that we employ that work on our teams, that run the crews, that build the stuff.
Mhm.
But what you get with us, like you just said, is you get a team of dynamic leaders who are hungry to do things the right way, who leverage technology, who are professional, and who do everything necessary to deliver the best possible because we know we constantly have to prove ourselves. We're younger, so,
Yeah,
like, that use that to your advantage as a client. Take advantage of that fact because you don't
Also,
they don't have that with the other guys. Like, there's always an angle if you own it, and you guys are
yeah.
owning it, and I think that's really good.
Confidence is definitely key. And one of our suppliers actually recently told us, Nick and I were chatting a lot about a UVP, our unique value proposition,
Mhm,
right? Like,
mhm.
what about EarthScapes is so unique that like when people know about it, that like they're gonna be comfortable using us for their project. And someone that we use for our supply that we get a lot of our tech from sat down and we were just chatting and we were talking about this. And I said, I can't figure out what our UVP is. He said, you know who it is? It's you and Nick. He goes, you two are the UVP of the company. Like you guys set set yourself apart from a lot of people. And I remember when I went back that day, I was like, wow, like, you're right. And I think it's very important that Nick and I are still heavily involved with a lot of our clients and just like letting them know how into it we are and how much we love and we truly believe in EarthScapes, the brand. Funny, the brand. I'm wearing 4 EarthScapes layers, so they have in my closet. My girlfriend's asked me the other day why everything is EarthScapes. All my personal clothes is
It's your
pushed to the
company.
back.
Why would yeah.
Oh yeah, because I love it and I truly, truly believe that we can provide the most exceptional experience for clients. And she gets annoyed when we drive around because I always point out every single house that we've done, but I'm so proud of it. That I'm being honest.
It's good.
But that's our UVP is Nick and myself, and honestly, our whole team. Like that's what sets us apart from a lot of people.
Yeah.
yeah, the team is everything.
Yeah.
Well, so perfect segue to the last part of the vision, which is creating a workplace that empowers our team to grow and excel. So, what does that mean for you, and what are you actually doing to create that environment?
Yeah, so we invest heavily in the team. I think that's really, really important. I mean, making sure that our team has and from tangible items as well, like, quality uniforms, quality equipment. We keep our fleet gets washed every week, so the guys are getting in clean trucks every Monday. Um, we do Monday morning team breakfasts at the shop, and a lot of these things that we do at the shop in the morning. Let me just preface here that we get our team out of the shop in 10 minutes. Like guys
Wow.
clock in, we have our huddle, we have our rollout down to today was 7:40. Came in at 7:30 a.m. We did a huddle rollout 10 minutes. So everyone does their loading and unloading and fueling up at the shop at the end of the day so that our mornings are nice and smooth and we get right to the site. But we invest heavily in our team, and I think that's really, really important. And we'll go into that a little more, I think, when we get to the spring training portion.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're definitely always looking for opportunities to promote from within as well. If we have a team member that, um, that's excelling in a certain area, and they're going to be our first pick before we interview, outside. Um,
So what are the like you have the core values, but like as leaders in the company, what are the things that you push, you promote, and what are the things that you don't tolerate? It's just as important as having values. You have to have, I don't know how to say it other than like anti-values, like things that like they do not belong here, they do not have a place here, and you do everything possible to eradicate them because they erode the rest of the culture that you're trying to build.
Definitely. I mean, we had someone else working here a while ago that was micromanaging everybody. That was very difficult, like not empowering the team members to be able to, kind of like succeed in their role. Um, Honesty is a huge thing, for me as well, making sure that our team is honest and, um, communicates well within each other. And, I think this also goes without saying, but reliability, like if somebody doesn't show up, I mean, if you're not here, you're not working with the team, like we don't really tolerate that. So.
Kyle,
Mhm.
what about your
Yeah. Um, I think something big that we definitely got into this year as well was one-on-ones. And the one-on-ones are really important. I have right now 4 of them every single week with all of my direct reports that come to me. I send them out an agenda every Monday morning at 8 a.m. They get an entire agenda of our 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes of all the topics we're going to go over. At the end of every single action item, or sorry, agenda, we have 2 action items for myself and whoever I am with to get done before the next week's one-on-one. And I think that's very important. I think setting action items and putting, due dates on them or deadlines
Mhm.
are very important. And something we definitely don't tolerate is giving someone an action item with a deadline and then it just completely being ignored or forgot about. Listen, like there's a reason that I have these. I share these with people. I set them to review and I send them to the person I'm with. So when those items get missed, which they rarely, rarely ever do, that's something that we're pretty firm on because again, it's just the reliability and it's the biggest word, accountability. We got to make sure that we're holding our team members accountable to the items that we delegate to them. And that goes all the way from the team, like the laborers, all the way up to our management staff.
Mhm.
Yeah, and accountability can come across as like a bad word. Most people think like being held accountable, but we use it as a powerful tool as well. Kyle and I hold each other accountable all the time. It definitely creates successful situations.
Mhm. No, I agree. It's funny. I was having a I won't get into the details of who, but I was discussing with a colleague about another colleague who was kind of shirking their own responsibilities and explaining all the reasons why they couldn't be successful in their role, and it was always someone else's fault. And that's because they're not taking accountability over the things that they can control, because if they just worried about those things and they excelled in those areas, they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. And
Yep.
too often, it's easy to blame, it's easy to find excuses, and it's because you don't want to face the reality that like, listen, it's on you. And like Kyle,
Exactly.
I love what you said about the one-on-ones. Like scheduling one-on-ones with your direct reports is something that gets very neglected in our business because we're all in the field, we're all working beside each other. So like we're here, we're talking, we're together, but it's not a dedicated time with a set agenda like you're doing. The question I have for you about that is, well, I guess two questions. One is you said every morning, 8 a.m., the agenda for the one-on-ones gets sent out.
Yeah, every Monday morning, 8 a.m.
So, when do you build that agenda? What are you focusing on? As part one of the question. And part two, why did the one on ones become such a focal point for you for this year?
Right, that's a great question. So I generate my one-on-one agenda for the next week on Fridays, around Friday afternoon, because my one-on-ones span from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday is a double one-on-one, so one after another. And what I do is I have another sheet that's like my one-on-one action item sheet. And what that is during the whole week, I get about maybe 6 to 8 action items that I have to complete. Friday morning, I work hard on completing all of those. And then throughout that week, I was able to get notes from the team or maybe questions they might had that I'm now able to put down into a formatted agenda. that I then send out Monday mornings. I also spend some time on the weekend just to make sure that it's, the right information. It's stuff that I really want to go over. And should there be something that popped up on Monday or Tuesday morning, I can easily add those in. Um, I found that it was very important to implement the one-on-one when there were a lot more people coming on the team. There was a lot more accountability to be held and a lot more tasks being delegated. I started noticing that like, let's back this up a little bit, Alex. I'm extremely detailed. I'm detailed so down to the minute. People make fun of me here. I mean, I have every single minute of my day accounted for. Like if I have a meeting at 4:45, I have it down to 4:44 of things that I have to do, and then I jump on to the next thing. With that, when it comes to action items, I'm extreme like I track all of them. It was getting hard when I started delegating things to so many different people, and there was no way to keep up with them. So we started implementing one-on-ones so that we can have one agenda, where all the action items are on it. Anything important throughout that week that was able to hold on until the one-on-one can be talked about, and then it gets sent to a review for them so they know exactly what we chatted about. And now, Alex, I have a log of every single one-on-one for every single week for months prior so that when it comes to the employment review or the biannual review with them, we can go back on everything and how we progress throughout the year. And it's good. And I think what's important to know, last thing I know I'm babbling, but the last thing I'll say here is it's important to keep the same time every single week and do not skip it. Today, my landscape team leader, Kyle, same name, it's a great name. We were very busy. He was particularly busy, but we had to find a time to go to a site to lay out some landscape for tomorrow's project. So our one-on-one was just brought on the road. So we just went out on the road, went to the job site, was able to chat about everything. Same thing with our maintenance today. So even if for some reason it's too busy, we try to make it happen regardless. We try to never skip because it needs to be scheduled. It needs to be the same time. That's a non-negotiable.
And Kyle and I have ours. Kyle being, he reports directly to me. Ours is every Monday afternoon at 5:30. So we have ours once a week, and then the notes from the other one-on-ones that he has get fed up the pipeline to me, and but they're excellent. I'm really proud of Kyle being able to implement that this year, and it's
It's a big
done wonders. I think
it's a
it
really
is.
big step, and it requires a lot of organization, a lot of discipline to A, implement and then to sustain, but it
Yep.
makes a big difference because you're developing your people, in a sustainable manner, and you have
Mhm.
visibility over the progression that they're making. And when you're
Absolutely.
trying to evaluate things like you said, like, empowerment and reliability, for example, well, what better way to see how they're doing those things than on a week by week by week basis?
Yeah, that's what it is, and a word that Nick brought onto our team, and it's I mean, this is just a normal word, everyone knows it, but Nick started making this more and more clear the past few months of positive reinforcement.
Mm.
So if someone's doing wrong or they're not doing the best with whatever task, we really try our hardest here because of respect and teamwork and relationships that we try to positively bring things up and reinforce them in a positive way. Hey, you know, this area could be fixed, but you're doing A, B, C, and D to really do a good job to make that happen. I think we can use and tweak this area a little bit though. And that's been very important because I know at least for me, I'll be honest, I could be kind of a sensitive guy. So when someone, is ridiculing me or saying things that I'm doing wrong, I kind of get very in my head about it. So we try the positive reinforcement method a lot to just like help them grow even more, which is something I like.
Nick, what's the biggest thing that you were able to see from bringing Kyle on that kinda showed to you maybe a blind spot that you didn't realize you had until your eyes were open to it?
Let me tell you to
Yes.
this one.
Yes. So, I mean, Kyle, you've been on here for I think about 4 years now, is it?
Mhm.
Has it been just about 4 years? When Kyle first started, my goal was to cross train him in as many areas as possible. Like, I mean, Kyle had so many job titles the past 3 years. And the goal for that is so there's a couple things. One, I wanted to see kind of like what his strengths and weaknesses are because I had no prior knowledge of what his capabilities were. I brought him around with me to every trade show, all the Techo events, our local events. Um, I just tried to basically force feed him industry information for years. Kyle was a sales guy. He was, a laborer for a bit. He was, I mean, XYZ, you name it. Um, with the recent adjustments that we made like last year, um, Kyle had been progressing. I noticed that he was absorbing a lot of information, and he was also maturing as a person. When you move to the Jersey Shore at 21 years old, your first couple of years you have a lot of fun, and I kept giving him another chance, another chance. But I saw a ton of potential in him, and I just saw like the passion for the industry, which to me is like I know I have it, so when I see it in somebody else, like it's super motivating and exciting. So I promoted him to our COO. I found that he and I like 99% of the time we're on the same page. And if we weren't on the same page, we would be able to effectively have a conversation to bounce ideas off of each other to come to a solution for an issue. And I found that becoming more and more apparent over the past year, past 12 months. So when I kind of had this whole shift in my mentality for the business back in the fall, um, I felt that it was time to kind of really bring him up there with me and promoted him to our COO. So my second in line here, and he was, you know, like I said, maturing quite a bit, and I knew that he'd be able to handle a lot of tasks that were on my plate that I could delegate so that I could focus on more things. He also was great with clients, um, really good at business development, and yeah, so we've seen a lot of. So I guess to answer your question, just a myriad of different things. I mean, just being able to take things off my plate so that I could focus on things like implementing, all the new stuff that we've done the past couple months, and the business development aspect, and helping really build positive culture here. Those would be the three things I think that have been most apparent.
Cool. And I have a question just because you say business development and that gets misconstrued often.
Mm.
What's the difference between handling clients, selling, and business development in your world?
So I guess in my world, the way we look at it is kind of forming relationships with people, going to like industry events, local like builder, events. Kyle went to a dinner the other night, met with a bunch of builders. Um, just kind of going outside our comfort zone a little bit to kind of build relationships with people. We actually just implemented doing handwritten notes for people that we come across
I
or that we
see
want to
that on
send
the
out.
board behind his head there.
Yeah, so we're like, you know what? No one does the handwritten notes anymore. It's all something we learned from Marty Grunder. But doing handwritten notes to clients, just saying like, "Hey, like it was a pleasure to meet you," or if someone has a something in the newspaper, they just won an award for something. Hey, congratulations! My name is Kyle, or my name is Nick with EarthScapes. Like, um, just give them a little bit of what we do. But
I think it's important to not underestimate the impact of those little gestures because they're so few and far between today. They're a
I
simple
agree.
way to stand out and to really convey your appreciation for someone in a very personal manner that literally takes all of 2 to 5 minutes.
yep,
I agree.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, okay, um, you mentioned Marty Grunder, so I'm just gonna circle back to the peer groups because you said that. So, I guess the Grow Group is one of them, or did you just
Yeah.
happen to go to an
So,
event, or tell me about
so I mean, I've been to a bunch of their events.
Yeah,
Kyle and I went to Grow this year. And yeah, I am a part of the Ace peer groups.
yeah, yeah.
It's been an exceptional tool, and and kind of helping me refine my vision for the company and everything, and absolutely love it. The program.
I'm picking up on it as you guys are talking, but like, yeah, I've heard these things before, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
exactly what well-structured companies do, and by doing these things, I can't stress this enough, by doing these things, you develop a business that can run without you, which is
Yep.
important. Not because you wanna work yourself out of a job, but because if you want to take the business to another level or you wanna have the business be valuable enough that you can do something with it, like sell it back to your employees or sell it to some other investor, well, it needs to be able to run without you, and if you don't do these things, these are fundamental things that you can run a business without, but it's not really a business at that point. It's just it's a job that you're kinda grinding through and you're holding everything together, and it's a million strings that are tied to you, and wherever you go, well, that's where the strings go. So,
Yeah,
if you wanna
and
maintain
really focusing on building the company to where it's at that point. And
Yeah.
I used to be a part of the Breakthrough Academy
Mhm.
groups as well,
Yeah.
BTA,
Yeah.
and that was a huge focus for them is like building your business so that you don't have to be there 24/7. And I think Kyle his new position has definitely made it a lot easier for me to
No kidding.
step away and and kind of do things while having trust that everything is operating as I expect.
Yeah. So I guess just to start moving towards a wrap up here, let's talk about the spring training. Uh,
Yeah.
you're trying to create an environment where people learn and get better and develop. So what is spring training at Earthscapes?
Definitely. So, I mean, training number one is an investment, without a doubt. This is the first year that we've ever done a spring training. We've talked about it in the past, but this is the first year that we really pulled the trigger on it. Kyle took on the responsibility to kind of organize it all. He built, an agenda with stations, so that we could have our team come in for, on a Saturday and just, have rotations throughout the shop. And it really is just like it's a great way to make sure everybody's on the same page, for the year. And also a great way to have like an official start date for the season. Just like, um, the start like official like kickoff to spring kind of
Mhm.
thing. But Kyle did a great job, creating stations. You want to lead in on that, Kyle, a little bit about how it was set up and what went into it?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, all it was really was taking our whole team, the whole list of team members we have, making sure everyone gets invites to come on that day. We had breakfast there, we had pizza there for lunch, and I think we set up 6 or 7 different stations, and they focused. There was one station that focused on our vision, mission, and core values. There's one station that focused on safety, like earplugs, goggles, masks, gloves, and everything. It was. I mean, I even wore all the safety to show everybody what it looked like. It was silly, but it worked. We had one station focused on technology, got everyone with the downloaded apps and how to use them, watched videos in Spanish and in English as well to understand how to navigate these apps. We had machine safety and operations. So we had guys that have never even touched a heavy piece of equipment. Maybe they're our maintenance guys.
Mhm.
We had them in excavators and skid steers, everything to learn how to use them. Maintenance as well. So some of our install guys were over on the maintenance side learning how to use the mowers, trailers, driving them, parking them, loading them up, getting machines on, just everything you could think of. We had the whole day, and there was a timer, and there were stations, and there were rotations, and everyone had to rotate at certain times. They were all put in groups, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and we really just tried to make it a fun experience, kick off the spring. 'Cause Nick and I had felt that that had set the precedent and set the expectation for the year on what to expect with the culture, how happy we all are, how excited we are to work with each other this year. And so far, it's definitely paying off. The guys are doing an exceptional job, and everyone's at the shop on time in the morning and treating everyone with the respect. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from it.
Mhm.
And you have to make it hands-on. Like, it has to be a hands-on training day because none of us got in this industry to sit in front of a PowerPoint presentation for a day.
God,
So
no.
it has to be like a fun, like
Yeah.
real world scenarios, problem solving, how to use certain things. And then, the fact that Kyle, the way he set it up to where we had like different team members run different stations, it really like allowed us to like empower our team to like lead certain areas. And when we do that, it really shows that we respect their knowledge and their experience. So like that was definitely an awesome part of it.
Yeah.
Formal agenda, having a formal agenda is a must. Like because like you said before, we're setting the example for our team.
Mhm.
So we're creating a formal agenda. We're like, this is how our training is going to run, and then as goes the leader, so goes the team. The team's going to hopefully we didn't train and drill that into people's heads that we're a very well-oiled company. This is how we want you to operate.
Right, and not only was there an agenda for the entire spring training, I also made agendas for every single station leader. So every leader had an agenda of exactly what times they got to be at what places. And Nick made a good point of like their strong points. So Nick and I both went through during our Monday nights, and we looked at all the station leaders and who I'd pick, and we tried to figure out exactly what their strongest point was and where we put him. Aaron, being our top construction guy here, we had him with the heavy machinery to teach all the guys how to use the machine, so on and so forth. We had guys everywhere. I led more of the technology area of it. Nick did a lot of core values, vision, mission. Um, but it was really great. What I also like too is for the past couple of years, Alex, I can honestly say I didn't know everyone that worked for us, and I didn't like that because I wasn't able. Say our maintenance vision manager Andre or maintenance team leader, sorry, Andre called me and said, "Hey, Marcos or Carlos or whatever like had a problem with this," and I'd be like, "I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know who that is." But now after the spring training, I'm pretty confident I can look at anyone in the face and I know all of their names, and all of our managers know all their names, which is important. Um, it's it's just it's a good thing, and I'm proud of it. I can say that.
Now you should be proud. It's pretty impressive what you guys have turned around in a short period of time. Like this is really good, important stuff. And like you said, like you're showing the example, but you're also doing something that I think a lot of people underestimate is you're showing, excuse my language, but you give a shit. Like
Mhm.
this isn't just like, okay, well, we're running a company, we're trying to make a buck and get to work. Like you're
Yep.
showing that you care about the development of your people. You're putting the effort in to making sure that you show up for them every day. When you have your one-on-ones, you have an agenda, you have things that you want to talk about to move them forward, not just to move your own agenda forward. When you're doing these trainings, you're empowering your people, you're tapping them to get involved, and like you said, you're showing respect for the skills, the ability, and the role that they play within the company. It's really, it's, I mean, you're checking all the boxes. Like this is this is how it has to go if you want to build a really strong company culture where people are bought in because they genuinely are bought in. Like they get it and they want to be part of something. And everyone wants to be part of something bigger than them if they feel they're contributing and they're winning. And that's what you
Mhm.
guys are
Definitely.
showing.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do give a crap. I mean, I could promise you that. Like in our one-on-ones, the first thing we start off with is personal updates. So we'll talk about family, we'll talk about health-related problems or issues, we'll talk about things I did over the weekend. I think it's very important because it starts off the conversation on a very personal note.
Mhm.
And then now I know, okay, well, this person is having a really hard time with a health issue or a personal thing that's going on. Okay, well, now I know this week if they're not maybe doing the absolute 120% that we expect of everyone, there's a reasoning why, and maybe I'm not gonna be that hard on them, or maybe I'm not gonna, like, say, "Hey, what's going on?" Because I already know that they're going through something, you know? But we do really care. I mean, at least I know, and I think Nick can agree. Like I said earlier, I live and breathe this green circle here. I think about it every single day. It goes home with me, and it's not bad. Like, I love it. On Sundays, I'm so excited for the work week ahead of me. And I think I'll always just I've been like that for 4 years, and I'll always be like that, um, specifically for EarthScapes, so that's how I feel.
Cool. Okay, guys, do you want to add anything to this conversation? We've covered a lot of ground, but I think the most important thing is what we just said at the end. Like you care so much about building a great company culture that you're willing to put the work and the effort and the time in to make that happen. And more
Absolutely.
importantly, you're willing to invest in yourselves to learn how to do those things because it's not innate. You don't just like wake up one day and like, okay, I know how to do a spring training program. I know how to build a company culture. I know how to define my core values. You pay and you go to different industry events. You're part of peer groups. You're talking with people. You're exchanging with other business leaders to continuously learn and get new ideas and get exposed to new connections and expand your horizons, which is equally important. So
Absolutely. And all of that together, I think, comes down to in us doing all those things, offering a great experience for our clients because we're going to be delivering, a professional service.
yeah,
So
I mean, I can't wait to see where you guys take this business because all the building blocks are there. I,
yeah, we're excited.
you
Appreciate
guys
that.
are young and you guys are fired up and you're doing the right thing. So like the sky's the limit. Take it as far as you want, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
we're trying for.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. If people want to check out your website, it's earthscapesnj.com. If they want to follow you on Instagram, what is it?
At
It's MJ.
Earthscapes NJ.
Okay. And if they want to get a hold of you guys, talk to you, pick your brain, whatever, what's the best way? Instagram DMs?
Yeah, we're Nick at earthscapesnj.com or Kyle at earthscapesnj.com. So it's our first name and then at earthscapesnj.com. We love connecting with people and building relationships and talking about things and yeah, reach out.
Amazing. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me on the show this week. And until next time, everyone, work hard, pave harder, and we'll see you next week on the Hardscape Growth Show. You've been listening to Hardscape Growth, a podcast for hungry professionals who want to grow their businesses and level up. Each episode is all about taking the next step in running your business. So make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on your favorite podcast player. And if you're finding this information to be useful, help others in your position discover us by giving us a star rating and leaving a comment. We'll see you next week.